right, there we are. Let's turn that off. There we go. We're all good. It is absolutely insane how many times your settings change on these streams. What's up, Red Squeak? It's like you start off setting all your stream up and then it all constantly changes. Every Windows freaking update. Or every streaming software update. It's crazy. All right, here we go. Yeah, just, it's crazy how it happens. It's just this constant shifting of, they keep adding one improvement. And sometimes I don't even want the improvement. Hey, we just made a new font. I don't care about fonts. But they keep doing it. They definitely keep doing it. Let's pin this up to the top. There we go. And good morning. And see how it's all rocking out that way. All right, we are good to go. Yeah, it's constant change of stream. Sometimes you just want the thing to be set and done with no issues. Let me see if this is actually working. And like this, hey. It's going good. What's up? Yeah, I have no idea why my stream is doing that. All right, hold on one second. I got to undo this. I have no idea why this stream is not showing my... There we go. Finally. Good morning. What's up, Dragonfly? Everybody? J-Dub? Melissa, how are you? Yeah, so the chat wasn't showing at first. It's kind of crazy. Okay. We should be all good to go. Bring this out. I'm on my backup tanks right now. Last night, the liquid definitely was on its last leg. I opened up the pressure builder. Hopefully, maybe able to squeeze an hour out of it, but we'll see. Not quite sure that's going to work. All right, let's get this thing split up for this morning. Try not to knock the camera off its ledge. Yeah, we're good. This tubing's ice cold too. All right, we're going to split that open. Then cut it off down here. And bring it up. Okay, good morning. How's everybody doing today? We do have the roses on tap, and I do have to finish up. I have an order for, believe it or not, peppermint swirls. We actually have to make Christmas ornaments, which doesn't disappoint me. I'm happy that they're moving all year round. That's a good thing. All right, let's pull this point down. All right, we're going to bring it down. This is that ooey gooey stage right here. Keep it perfectly straight. And there we go. Pull that off. And we are good to go. That is as straight as she's going to get. So this is definitely one of the little things that I always prioritize when I teach people. So pull this point. So what this little skinny part right here is the next blow tube for when I separate these items off, chunk them off, you create another blow tube. So instead of attaching a tube to it or having the metal tubing, pipe, or whatever you want on there, you create and manufacture your own blow tube off of the main piece. It's very old school. And I'm just, again, surprised how many people, professional glassblowers, don't know how to do that. Or even try. It's not even a matter of don't know how, they don't even try. Yeah, it's such a waste of glass to not do that. What's up, Jen? How are you? Mr. Derby, what's going on? Who else do we have? It Callie. Good to see you in, Callie. How are you doing? Okay, so we're going to bring this in and attach this up right here. Extend the life of this color. This is definitely what I call it's called odds. So the colored glass comes in 3 categories. You have what's called first run, which is premium glass. Then you have odds, and then you have what's called seconds. And this is an odd. I don't buy seconds. And an odd is first quality color, but oddly shaped. I'm going to bring in the side camera and show you what exactly I'm talking about. In fact, I think odds are actually better. And I'll tell you why in a second, but maybe you can see it, but you can see how it goes skinny to wide, skinnier right there, wide. It's not by much, okay? We're talking about a millimeter of difference from being super round to maybe just a little flat. So 2 reasons that odds are very good. 1, odds usually occur when they're heating up all the colored glass in a crucible and they're pulling it out. The very bottom of the crucible is where most of the metals have settled in. So the thicker version of the glass is at the bottom because metal heavy brings it down. What's up, L to the B? Good morning to you. So the color settles, all the metals are settling to the bottom, and when they're pulling it out, it kind of makes it a misshapen little rod. But it's got the densest color of all the colors, even more than firsts. And first run is usually perfectly round, perfect color. And then seconds are something I don't recommend. Unless you're beginning, I recommend seconds. And seconds are, they have stones in them. They're not completely melted. The color's off. The shape is really off. All kinds of stuff like that. But seconds are great for if you're beginning, okay? There's nothing wrong with that. Don't let anybody tell you any different. So this is the kind of like little bead thing we did last night. This is the glow in the dark. I'm going to actually bring it on the side view. I'm thinking of actually doing a few glow in the dark beads. So this is, again, that tubing we did last night, the glow in the dark with the spiral. I wish I could show you the total glow, but so we create these little tornado corkscrews in it, like that. And we got an open hole running all the way down it. You can see all the way through. So these are kind of fun, but it should be smaller if it's going to be a bead. It should definitely be smaller. All good, Sarah. We're all good. So I'm going to park this in the kiln. We may actually cut this down and do something with it later. And then we got the Nova, which we did last night. This is called, no, this isn't Nova. This is Solar Flare. This isn't Nova. So we brought this one out last night. So this, I don't know if it appears to you guys. Does that look orange to you? It has a very orange look to it. So this is the gold fuming. I'm going to see if it reacts to the black light. Normally it does. It's not getting a whole bunch of reaction right now to the black light. But I think it looks orange. There. It definitely has that orange look to it. I think it looks good. Okay, here we go. All right. Yeah, I like this color. We're going to create a quick vase for it and get this thing all knocked out. Let's make a fast little vase. So this will be the little mini vase. And we're going to just snip it right here. What's up, Uncle Scooby? How you doing, my friend? Good morning. Leslie, good morning. Lori, good morning. Sarah's in. No reason to be upset, Sarah. You're all good. Web Tire, how are you? Good morning. And so we're just going to separate this. Create a little mini tube. Yeah, the torch, I wish it was a Jedi sword. It'd be pretty freaking cool. Honestly, if you want to go check out a really cool video, there's a guy on YouTube named the Hacksmith, H-A-C-K, Hacksmith. And he took this brand of torch, not this exact model, but this brand, and turned it to a portable lightsaber. Good morning, Lori. He actually turned it to a portable lightsaber. It is a freaking cool video, and it works amazingly well. I was surprised. But he built a little like gas backpack for it. Yeah, it is really cool. It's called the Hacksmith. And honestly, it's one of the best videos I've seen in a long, long time. Uncle Scooby, oh, your birthday. Well, happy belated birthday. All right, so we're going to bring this out. Happy belated birthday. So I'm kind of excited today. We do have a new, I have a new camera coming. And it is the main camera that I use right now, but it is the upgraded version of it. So I'm kind of excited to see how it works. It is a upgraded version of the current camera that I use, the main camera. And I'm just hoping, I don't know how much more clear it could get. This camera is pretty awesome. But yeah, I'm pretty excited to check it out. All right, so we got this clear here. We're going to do a silver fume coating on the outside of it this time. Build a little mini vase for that rose. All right, so we can see that we got completely clear here. We'll use side cam. Like that. So there we are, totally clear, right? We got it. We're going to grab our silver. I hope I got silver in here. Yep. We're going to grab some silver and we're going to fume it. So the color is going to change. What happens is the silver gets into like a nanoparticle size, and it is so light that the flame, the power from the flame, the air pressure from the flame will carry it up to the top of the tubing up here. So the silver becomes basically a gas lighter than the actual flame, and it just transfers all the way up. Oop, that is definitely not the right setting there. There we go. And that's not the right setting. Definitely have to hit it right or it doesn't work well. Let's scooch it out. Finally, now we got it. Just give me a little hard time there. Welcome to the morning. All right, looks ugly, right? Not very much to it, but it did coat it with silver. Yep, it is simply pure silver, correct. Now, here we go. We're going to leave it on the side view so you can see there's no camera trickery going on. Now I'm just going to buzz it in the flame for a few seconds. And now we've got that. See how it changed all the coloring? And that's just a few seconds in there. You can see it is silver plated. Now we could polish that out a little more if we wanted to. But we're going to do it again. We're just going to buzz it in here. This is an old trick now. This used to be like back in the day, high tech. Now everybody knows how to do this. But whether they know how to do it properly, that's a different story. Can they do it properly? There we go. So now you can see all these different colors transferring through here. Okay? This isn't going to be the end result. This is just the beginning. So a good rule of thumb when you're doing this particular process is you want to put double the amount of silver that you think you need on. Because as I start to shape this sucker, it's going to burn half of it back off. And it's going to leave a little residual silver. That residual is what we want to color it. And theoretically, the least amount of silver that's on it, the better it is. Chef Dave, thank you. Oh, I love sharing knowledge. Yeah, it's 32 years, plus we got the 50 years of my mother's experience. You know, there's definitely a lot that goes into it. As soon as the weather improves, I'd love to have my mother out here to answer questions. But right now, it's too cold for her, and I do not want her getting sick. But she could definitely answer questions that most people wouldn't be able to know. Right now we're making a little tiny vase for this mini rose. So it's basically a little cool mini set. All right, let's get this vase shaped out. Let's go. I may actually have to fire up the oxygen generator this week too, because my liquid tank doesn't come till Friday, and I only have so many backup tanks here. So we may actually have to fire up the concentrator, and I'm worried about the noise level, but we'll figure it out. It's pretty quiet, but it does add a little rumble. All right, we got this shaped. Okay, we're going to bring it in. Burn this off. I'm probably going to gold fume on top of this as well. So the coloring that you're seeing now isn't probably going to be permanent. We'll see how it looks. We'll check it out in the end. All right, let's go to side view. So now you can see the colors have morphed again, and that is from the pure silver. So we have morphed it again. What's up from Seattle? You're not very far from me. I'm about 40 minutes north of you. Look at that color though. So that is from the silver. That's the color changing glass that everybody refers to. So see that blue? That's what we're talking about. Isn't that magical? Magic. And that's if it's done correctly. Jennifer, it's good to see another fellow Washingtonian here. The greenish rose the other day is absolutely fantastic. That one is actually going to go up for auction. We don't know if it's going to be a live auction or silent. But it's definitely going up for auction because I cannot, I'm not confident I could repeat it. You learned a lot of carpentry tricks? That's pretty awesome. See, I have a lot of appreciation for people that can do carpentry because I cannot. I would really love to be able to work like on cabinets and wood and all that. I can't. Ben, thank you so much for the super chat. I appreciate that, my friend. I very much appreciate it. Big shout out to Ben for that super chat. Appreciate it. All right, let's get this mini vase made. So right now we're just kind of shrinking it down. We're going to thicken it up so that when it has a bottom to it, it is stable. Little pressure, not much. Okay, not much pressure to that. Very little. Okay, so we're going to flatten it this way. We're going to bring it down, squish it. And then I'll show you a tiny little trick that we use to keep it stable. So we're going to bring it out, really melt it in. So we're making a mini vase for the rose I have over here. We did a really cool looking rose last night made out of orange color, kind of orangey. And I want a vase for it. We're going to sell it as a set. Okay, very stable looking right now, right? But the problem is, it can have an issue. Depending on your tabletop and your surface, it can wobble. So that bottom is pretty flat. See that? And that normally is okay. Oh, it's not easy for me, Ray. Trust me. I am a total dunce when it comes to woodworking. I wish I could do that. So, the trick to this is you heat up the center of this flat spot on the bottom. And we create a little concave section in here. And we're going to use a carbon tool for that. Okay, we're just going to create a little bit of an indent. Like that. And if you ever look at a wine bottles are very predominant with it. You can see that now we caved it in a little bit. Actually, not as far as I wanted. Let me heat it up one more time. So if you look at a wine bottle, you'll notice the center of the bottom kind of domes out on the inside. And this is why it adds a tremendous amount of stability to the item. That way, if you get an uneven surface on your table, it doesn't high center and wobble. It's one little step that you want to add in here, and so many people forget about. And there. So now I can put this on an uneven surface, and it will not wobble. So we're going to take this and we're going to open up the top. So we're going to separate the tube now and create the top of the vase. This part is amazing. If you got another 30 seconds to 1 minute, it's definitely worth the wait. This is called a flame cut. We're going to actually blow it super thin, incredibly thin bubble. And then we're going to use that to just cut this tubing off. Makes it nice and even. And here we go in 3, 2, 1. There. Then we end up with that. Super thin. It's actually cooled off right now. It's not even hot. There we go. So that is a flame cut. Super easy. Oh, it's whistling. Listen. Got a little whistle to it. All right, let's get this thing rounded out. That was a little bonus, little whistle. Okay, we're going to go to side view. Now we got the top all built, and we're going to kind of flute it out a tiny bit. I'll leave it on side view for the moment. So you guys can actually see this happen in real time. You just simply heat it up and give it a little push. Not much pressure at all. Just tiny little pushes. Flutes it out a little. Yeah, a little uneven there. Push that. There. There. So now we created a little bit of a fluted top on it. Just a little character. All right, let me show you the color before we change it up. So we're going to change it with pure gold. So we got the blues going on right now. So there is the blue, milky blue iridized effect. And we're going to change it with pure gold. We're going to show you in real-time process here. Going to bring the gold out. And the gold is going to vaporize the same way as the silver. And it's going to vaporize right on up into that top part. We're going to get it nice and purpley pink. Little cranberry to it. Just like that. So we just added the gold to the top, and that is pure gold. Okay, that's how we achieve that color combination there. And now we have there. Look at that. Isn't that pretty? And back there. Yeah, that is a gorgeous color combo. Sorry about that little coffee thing there, coughing. Then we got the vase that'll sit like that. Okay, we're going to make the little, we're going to cut off the flower for it. So this is the flower that's going into it. I just have to cut it appropriately. All right. Gonna park that in the kiln. So before we go, this is the flower that is going into it. Again, we have that really nice orange hue to it. I do like it. It looks absolutely fantastic. So keep an eye on that color. I'm going to show you what the color looks like in its raw form before we ever modified it. I was not super happy with this color. But I'm pretty okay with it now. I've had this color for like 6 years. Nothing to do with it. All right, so we just cut it off. It'll fit in that vase. We're going to set that off to the side. Just let it chill for a little bit. So this is the actual raw color that we based it off of. So using the gold, we were able to transform it from this to this. Can't hold it too close. So those were the same colors. That color right here was used on this flower. Then we enhanced it with gold to get that orangey look. So same color. That is a transparent cadmium. Offer little in the way of protection. Yeah, because I've done it for a while. Is it really, Kevin? Are you getting some feedback from it? I hope so. Thank you for telling me, Kevin. Sometimes I feel like I'm not doing anything. I appreciate that, my friend. So yeah, the torch and everything is absolutely super stable. You can just see, not hot. It's actually, the torch is actually super cold right now. I wish it was a little warmer. It'd warm my hands up. Welcome in from Corning, New York. Yeah, I don't know if I call it that kind of yellow. It's different. It does have a little UV action to it. Let me see if I can get you guys to see the UV. It's very faint. It's a very faint UV reaction. Yeah, it's not really. Can you see a little bit of that orange popping in there, right there? In total darkness, it goes like an orange color, like that. But it has to be in complete darkness for that to take place. Without that, it doesn't work. And here comes the sun blaring its way into my life. All right, next step. We made this last night. We have the triple color, and we're going to make a flower out of it. So side cam one last time here. I don't even need to add the flashlight. So we got a triple color. We got the caramel, teal, and black. So we're going to turn this into a flower, see what the heck the petals look like, and go from there. I hope I have enough. I was going to cut this off, but I'm going to leave it. I'm definitely going to leave that. I may need that little bit of extra. Where is my skinny rods? They are hiding. I'm looking for a particular size right now, and it is hiding on my bench. I did not grab enough of it this morning. See if I can find just a tiny bit. Just a itty bitty bit of it. There we go. This is what I need right here. I'm going to park that off to the side just in case I need more. Okay, so we're going to make a flower. And here we go. Glassblowing pay well in the U.S.? What do you think? It pays as well as you're willing to be disciplined for. All right, let's go. We're going to start making flour. Now, glassblowing is what you make of it. There are people that do well, and there are people that don't. If you treat it like a business, you'll do well. If you don't, you won't. All right, we're going to smushy and get this thing rolling. It's definitely a user-based pay scale. All right, we're going to bring it in, and I'm going to show you the taco. So I call this the taco phase. Look at all those colors bouncing in now. So we call that the taco. That's the very first petal we put on. And there we go. Quartz blast blower, 62, so I think I do okay. Well, there you go. Then why do you ask the question? Here we go. We're going to start implementing all the petals in here, one at a time. So about every third or fourth petal, I will bring it out and show you where we're at. And there we go. So we're going to keep putting this all the way around. It's going to be a smaller flower, unfortunately. But I do everything in a test run before we do larger. I definitely do this in a large scale. It's actually looking kind of cool. I'm pretty okay with this. I was not sure about this color combo. I don't even think we'll have to fume it at all. I think we can just nail it out without fuming. We do have to straighten it out though. It's a little crooked. There we go. Man, the cold air is just kicking butt on my sinuses right now. All right. And there we are. You can see the, wow, that actually does look pretty cool, actually. I think we're getting some beautiful colors out of it. What do y'all think? Is that a keeper or no keeper for colors? I think it's a keeper. Yeah, the supplies are super expensive. They definitely run up there. Yeah, there's 3 different colors in here, Groves. That's a triple color. There are 3 colors layered. All right, we're going to start adding on more petals. Oops. Yeah, if the small version looks good, we can definitely upscale it to a larger flower. So that's one of the things I primarily do is I test on a small scale, and then we upscale it if it looks good. So we do a small version, and then if it looks good, then we upscale it. Kind of excited to see what it looks like full blown, like lots of petals to it, because it's definitely going to change the look of it. I don't want to fume this one for sure. I want to leave it as is, natural. I definitely don't want to add any fuming to it. But I don't remember. Someone was asking about doing an all black flower. And while it would look good, I would definitely multi-color that black. I wouldn't do all black. Well, maybe I would, now that I think about it. All right, let's bring it down and see what she's looking like. We definitely have some cool colors to it. I like the teal in there. Yeah, that teal is definitely punching it out. A little bit of black in there. So we got teal, black, and butterscotch. Love butterscotch. Yeah, the Harvard Glass Botanical Garden is by far probably the best example of glass sculpting I've ever seen in my life. The Harvard Botanical Glass Garden is, in my opinion, and take it for what it's worth, the most elegant and accurate and beautiful example of glasswork I've ever seen. There is nothing in the world better. How they did that, I really don't know. Because you're talking about old technology, old glass, and the exact science of what they did, I don't know. I wouldn't be able to replicate it today. Not without a lot of time and research. Oh, you got married on Halloween? That's awesome. What a cool day to get married on, I guess. I dig it. Okay, we're going to come through and pop it in. So about every third or fourth petal, again, I will show you the progress as we go through. This isn't a tutorial of how to make it, it's a how it's made. So I'm not trying to show people how to make it, I'm just showing you the process involved in making it. Big difference in the two. If I were a... Wow, I lost my place. Damn it. All right, one there, one there. Definitely over here, there's a blank spot. I got to add one more petal before I show it after this. One more petal and I'll show you guys where we're at. It looks good, I can tell you that. Propane and oxygen is correct. Propane and oxygen. Bring it down. So yeah, we're starting to get that really cool patterning to it. It's coming out actually pretty fantastic. Unfortunately, right now we're in that triangle phase, so it's definitely missing some petals and spots, but we'll make it get in there. We'll bring it in. This one, I don't know who gets it. What size tanks for oxygen? I use a liquid tank. Right now my liquid's empty, but I go through a liquid oxygen tank about once a week. This is a full-time job for me. You know, a lot of people, a liquid tank will last them a month. I would not be able to do that. I have an oxygen concentrator, and I like it, but I'm trying to make room for a lathe, so I'm trying to get off of getting used to it. But we may have to fire it up this week. How many pounds of propane per week? 9 to 10, maybe. And it's not pounds, it's gallons for me. The numbers that I know of. It's roughly 40 gallons a month, give or take. So one bottle, what do you mean one bottle? Yeah, no, you would figure it'd be a lot more. It is very, very fuel efficient. Yeah, very, 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 very fuel efficient. On propane. Oxygen, not so much. My biggest expenses are the actual colored glass that we're using. That's the biggest expense for me. Number 2 is oxygen. That is my second largest expense. Whether I'm purchasing it from an oxygen supply company or even generating it myself. The oxygen concentrator requires electricity, and it requires a lot. So there we are, we're getting it. I'm not going to fume this. I'm definitely not going to fume it. We're looking good all the way around though. Amazon? I don't think so. I don't think Amazon will ever deliver it. Okay, so let's keep going. I think we have 3 more petals to go, and this one will be completed. It's that little carving technique that gets everything looking good. You would think oxygen would be cheaper, but it's not. I mean, I have to use as pure oxygen as I could possibly get. There's a big difference between 95 and 98% purity. It definitely affects my flame. Even that little bit of a difference definitely affects everything. It can definitely make an impact. Bad one. Yeah, just a 3 or 4 degree change in purity can hit my torch pretty bad. All right, we're going to bring it out. Last petal. We should be good. Yep, right there. So this is the rabbit hole. I'm going to show you. We have a rabbit hole real quick. I call it the rabbit hole. So this is where you have to start deciding where to start and where to stop. So right here, it looks pretty completed, but I'm going to show you something. See that top portion right there in between those two petals at the very top? Now, if you look at it, it doesn't look round, right? Versus that looks incomplete. So this is that rabbit hole you go down of where do you stop? Where do you stop adding petals? When is it fully complete? And that's where I'm at right now. Actually, I think that did it. Yeah, drawing roses, same thing. Where do you stop? Oh, damn it, I had it on the side view the whole time. Sorry about that. I apologize. God, I changed it. So there we go. I think that does it for filling it out. It looks pretty complete there for a smaller size. Biggest flower? That would have to be either the iris. It's either the iris. I've got some big old flowers I've done, like roses that are too big. Like I did some roses a long, long time ago that were, I have them here somewhere. But I want to say they're in like 6-inch size. Yeah, I'd say they're probably like that. I'll see if I can find one later. But biggest isn't necessarily the best. That's the one thing that kind of throws me off, is just because it's big doesn't mean it's better. There we go. So those are the colors we used right there. We'll use the little flashlight on here so I can show you. So there's the teal look, and then there's the butterscotch up there. And then there is the onyx, or not onyx, galaxy. Blue glass? I definitely do a ton of cobalt. Cobalt's like one of our mainstays. So I'm going to attach this to a little tiny holding rod here. I'm going to save this as the combo. So if you're a glass blower and you're watching this, One of the things I do is I will take that flower out of the kiln later, and I'm going to take this little bit that I have left over, and I'll take a photograph of the flower with this combination. So that when you look at it, you know exactly what the combo was. Kind of think of it as like a recipe book for glass blowing. Now you can do it digitally now, thank God, which I do in Dropbox. So I'll use a Dropbox for that. We're just going to make a little swath of it right here. There. So I'll take that combination, I'll take this little rod, I'll photograph it, and then drop it in Dropbox under my recipe book. I highly recommend you keep a recipe book. It's one of the things that, like if I was going to teach someone glass blowing, like start to finish, I would highly recommend you get a recipe book and start keeping it. Because trust me, you're going to get a year down the road, someone's going to bring a piece to you and say, can you replicate it? And you're going to look at it and go, I don't remember how I did that. Promise you that'll happen. All right, we're going to mix this little bit of color up. We're actually going to turn it to a funky little marble. We're just going to take this little bit, what's left of it, that I pulled off, and we're going to make a funky marble. Just a fast one, like a 1.5 inch, or 1 inch, 1.5 inch marble. Nothing too exotic. I have a customer that buys these for wine toppers. So they will take the marble and attach it to a wine topper. And they don't just attach the marble, they actually 3D print. They 3D print, I don't want to give it away. If they give me permission to share it, I will. But they 3D print scenes, like scenes. And then they use the marble as the focal point. So like the marble will sit in a flower 3D printed on a wine topper. I do remember the balancing bird. Pretty simple little project. You can still find them on eBay too. Yeah, you could definitely find them on eBay. Those little balancing birds. All right, got a whole bunch of little bits of color here. We're going to throw some cobalt. No, wait, you're brown. Do I want to put brown? Sure, let's do it. Throw a little brown on here. So this is normally what I would call an end of the day marble, where I take all the tiny little bits and I throw it together. And it's just the end of the day. All the little bits laying around on your bench. Oh no, this is red. Huh. Never mind, it's red. It looked brown through my glasses. This is red Elvis. Throw a little bit on there. We'll see if we can get it to strike. What's up, Sharky? All right, so this is what's called a striking color. I hope it does it. We're going to bring it over to the side. Now keep your eye on the very top portion. It's going to look very transparent. Okay, keep your eye on it. Keep watching. And then it's just going to morph into red. Unless it's a totally different... This should be red. Yeah, it should be. Yep, there it goes. Sorry. Now it went red. See how dark it went? I was like, please don't fail me. Throw a little blue on top of that. Little light blue. This might actually be turquoise. It's an old color if it's turquoise. Unfortunately, when my father passed away, he left a lot of colored glass, and he did not label it. So I have to go through and find the mystery of what's what. Okay, we got that blue on there. I think it is turquoise, which means it's going to have a little bit of like a white streak through it. No, I know a lot of people say that, I look like this naturally. I'm going to cover this really quick. Sorry. So this is my natural look. I'm not pretending to be anybody else. I really look like this all the time. 20 plus years I've looked like this. I happen to look like a famous chef. Okay, great. And as far as Fiery Guy, I've had this name for a while, and it is applicable to me. Fiery Guy. Super simple. I don't like using my name. I like my name, but I don't like using it, because artistically it doesn't have a good sound to it. Artistically, my name does not sound good. So, that is why. Can I cook? Yeah, I can tell you, I make the meanest, most awesome peanut butter and jelly sandwich on the planet. I am the peanut butter and jelly master. There is nobody that can beat me on peanut butter and jelly. So yeah, I can cook. All right, we're adding a little clear cap on here. Yeah, I definitely can cook glass. We could definitely roast this. I did roast this shish kebab once back in the day. That was kind of fun. But you have to be careful. You can't use wood for it. Obviously, the wood on the shish kebab will melt. And you can't use metal for too long because the metal gets hot and goes through. Peanut butter and jelly Jedi Master. That's right, Kevin. Yeah, that's the whole thing. If you're not fond of your artist, you have your name. I like my name, okay? Generally, I like it. But artistically, it doesn't ring for me. It doesn't work. So, yeah, I'm okay with it. And a lot of people don't know that the chef guy, that's not his real name. Nothing wrong with it. And he has every right to change his name, same as I do. And to be honest, I'm a huge fan of his. I think it's awesome. He does some cool stuff. So I have no issue with any of that. And if he ever happens to come across my content, I hope he likes it too. Totally different worlds. Yeah, because my options for artistic name would be Glass by Jason. Jason's glass art. Yuck. The only thing Jason goes good with is Friday the 13th, the movie. You know, if I was going to be a horror actor, I'd be great. Jason, Friday the 13th. And considering my birthday's on the 13th, yeah. I do not have a showroom. I have a website, and that's about it. All right, so we're going to bring this down. We're going to shrink it down. I'm going to show you how we get the traditional marble spiral in here. And it's kind of cool how you get the marble spirals in. This is going to look very old school marble. Very, very old school. So we're going to heat it up and bring it down, not too close to the flame there. And now we have the lines running all the way through. TheFieryGuy.com. All right, so here we go. We're probably going to have to use a light on it. So now you can see some of those lines running through it. So we got a little bit of a swirl in there. See that? That definitely was turquesa. So that blue I had is turquesa right there. That is the color of turquesa. That's what it does. It's a really cool color. So that is the cobalt blue with a little bit of silver built into it. And that is turquesa. I don't know why they named it that, but it is what it is. So we're going to change direction here. We're going to 90-degree attach. I'm going to slam it on my torch and break this one off. This one won't break because it's ooey gooey. Like that. So now we have the ooey gooey stage all set up. We're going to take this and we're going to attach it to the other side and create spirals. Then we're going to get to flowers because we got to make flowers today. Your name is Smiley? I like that. Smiley's a good name. There's been some cool glassblower names out there. There was a guy his name was Ray Shakes because his hands would shake all the time. He was a really good glassblower though. Unfortunately, he did have a stroke, so I hope he's doing well. But his name was Ray Shakes. That was a cool name, I thought. Then there's some people that have some lame names, but it is what it is. But Ray Shakes was a funny name. I thought that was funny. And again, he was a fantastic glassblower. Really good. Okay, we're going to bring it out and we're going to stretch it just a little bit before we go too far. So we're going to pull it down a little bit further. So a little bit of stretching here. We're going to use a side cam so I can show you exactly what we did before we bring it in. So we stretched it back out. Okay, we kind of turned it to what I call a dragon's eye. Okay, I consider that like a dragon's eye shape. Fat glass? Yeah, see, that works. You follow another that is Glasshopper. Yeah, see, that's a unique name. It works. You know, there are, like I said, you have to kind of create your own alternate name. You know, a lot of people knew me as the Boro Glow guy, so Boro Glow. But nobody knows what Boroglow is outside of the glass industry. Boroglow is a borosilicate glow-in-the-dark glass. But outside of the industry, nobody knows what the hell it means, and it made no sense to other people. So we definitely didn't want to use that. You know, and for 99% of the time, I'm a pretty nice person, but you know, I can be pushed to my limits. And there was a name that I was going to use reflective of that, but I decided against it. All right, so now we got this spiral going in. This is kind of like a spiral egg. This by itself would make kind of a cool wine topper by itself. Just bottle toppers they sell well, but they're not like the biggest item that you want to make. You're not going to make a full living off of bottle toppers. Blanco is really cool. I like Blanco. Blanco created some really cool colors. They invented a lot of colors that I really like. People don't give Blanco enough credit. Blanco is really good. Yeah, everybody can be pushed to their limits for sure. I just don't like being pushed to my limit because once that happens, there's no backing out. You know, once someone pushes me to my limit, the Marine comes out, and that's not a good thing. So I try and stay calm. Let's see what colors we got. Here's the reveal. Look at that beautiful combo in there. This is the reveal part. This is where I get excited. Look at that. Isn't that just fun? I'm so sorry for coughing or clearing my throat. I don't mean to. It just something in the air right now is kicking my butt. What's up, Janae? Okay, so we're going to come through and we're going to shrink it down into the marble form. I'm so sorry, frig. I really apologize. Hold on one second. Something in the air. We've had sun for a few days, and something's starting to bloom. All right, let's make a marble. There we go. Finally cleared. Thank goodness. Fenton is really good. I like Fenton glass. And there's another company, I don't know if they're still around, but there was a guy by the name of Charles Lawton, Lotton, Lawton glass. Really good glass. Lawton glass is fantastic. Go look it up. Charles Lawton. Really good glass. All right, you guys want to answer a phone with me? This is a scammer. Watch. Here's a scammer. Hello? Hello? What are you wearing? You gonna talk? Hello? Hello? I hate that. Yeah, Charles Lawton. Lawton. Lotton. Lawton glass. Really, he made a lot of beautiful perfume bottles. Super beautiful perfume bottles. I wish perfume bottles were like a good item these days. You do the same? Yeah, I get really angry at the scam calls. So I ask them what they're wearing. They get really offended because I just go, "What are you wearing?" And I can't take credit for that. I got that off the State Farm commercial. You know that State Farm commercial where he says, "What are you wearing?" Yeah, that's where I stole it. I stole that one. I cannot take credit for that. I know, khakis. Exactly, khakis. The wife loves the stuff. Oh, thank you, Steve. I appreciate that. Yeah, I like watching. He's on TikTok and he's on YouTube as well. His name is Doc Compton. Doc Compton. DOC Compton. And he's pretty awesome with the scammer calls. Doc Compton's pretty fun. Big shout out to Doc Compton. Thank you, Wolfman. Good to see you as well. Lampwork is a version of glassblowing, Chase. Tomato. All right, here we go. And we're going to attach there. And we're going to finish this off here. You answer spam in Portuguese? That would be funny. That would be really funny. I find it interesting, though. So many people get Portuguese and Spanish mixed up. When they hear Portuguese, they think you're speaking Spanish. I know, right, Janae? Doc Compton's amazing. He's really funny. I like his show, and I love Scammer Payback. Scammer Payback is fun. That dude just rocks it. Scammer Payback. If you get a chance to see Scammer Payback, he is hilarious. All right, so we're finishing this guy off. Because I hate scammers. Scammers, bullies, and people that make fun of the disabled. Pedophiles too. Pedophiles are definitely on my, useless in the world radar list. Okay, here we go. We're going to bring it in and round this guy out. Do I make crystals? I don't do crystals. Crystal is a completely different... Yeah, pierogi. Exactly. See, you know who I'm talking about. Pierogi. Crystal is a whole different type of material. Definitely a different way of melting and doing things. I don't know the chemical composition of crystal. It's definitely not just like pure crystal. It is a form of glass in some way. I can't speak on it because I don't know. I can't really speak on it because I really don't know the chemical makeup of like crystals. If I don't know, I will say it. All right, let's see how we're looking here. We should have a beautiful little spiral in here. Here we go. So we got one spiral running right there with the turquesa. We got some colors bouncing through. Right in the middle there, we got some, I don't know what that is. I think it's turquesa in the middle. But yeah, you can see this is old school marble style. Am I scared to catch my hair on fire? No. Why would I? I'm nowhere near the fire. It looks worse than it really is. I'm actually nowhere near the fire. I'm not even that close. It just looks like it. You got more of a chance of catching your hair on fire barbecuing. What do I sculpt? Everything that I can possibly do. I don't do horses. I definitely don't make a horse. It's the one item that is my nemesis. Horses are my nemesis. But I'll show you a piece that most people don't... I'll show you a piece most people have never seen that sits next to me. It's one of my favorite pieces, not for sale at all. Okay, but we'll bring it out. So this is me being different. So this is the dagger, the dragon dagger. So this is all glass. Okay, blade, handle, dragon. We'll pull it on the side view. So we can sculpt into there. See all that? The difference on this one is this is solid for the mouth. We carved in the mouth. I didn't make independent little teeth. We actually just carved it in. I do like this camera for the detail. The camera's probably got the best detail I've ever seen on a cam. But we'll do that, and even to the point of, I was thinking about sending this to Doc Compton. So this is my microphone, like that. So it's an old microphone, only because I was a big fan of them. I thought they were cool. I can't sing for crap, okay? I am not a singer. But I just thought for something different, it'd be cool to have a little microphone. We put the little screw and bolt on there and created the little nut. But yeah, so I make a lot of oddball stuff that you don't see out there. And then this is another, got a little scary there. So this is a little dagger like that. This one's a little different. This definitely has a much smaller, narrow blade. So this one was actually cold worked. So there was no glass blowing that went into this part. Zero glass blowing. This was all cold work, ground on a machine. And then the rest of it was hand done. But the blade itself was not made in the torch. It was just fused on to the end there. So the blade was basically ground down off of a larger tube. So that is another method of you doing things. You create different aspects of it. So there's different ways of doing things. This is 32 years. 32 years. We can go over the glasses real quick. Let me grab a piece of glass. I'll show you what my glasses do. They are a didymium filter. So we're going to bring it in, and you're going to see this really bright right here. Okay, there we go, super bright. And then we're going to drop it in, and there we go. So we're cutting out a lot of that sodium flare. Like that. There we go, a little better view. Now notice the flame is actually blue. See how it's white? When we put the filter on, that's the actual color. So right there is the true color of the flame. That bright, bright blue is what it looks like in person. The camera has a very hard time picking it up. Webcams are not very good. Even my DSLR mirrorless camera has a hard time with it. It does not pick it up very well. Okay, we're going to drop that in. Tap, tap. Okay, so I got that done. Where are we at time-wise? So we're at an hour and a half. Give me 10 minutes. I need to take a short break. Give me 10 minutes. I'll be right back. We're going to make some flowers. These guys up here. I'm going to make these. The bigger version. So yeah. Uranium glass is just what it sounds like. Uranium fused into the glass. It's exactly what it sounds like. Uranium mixed with glass. Very small amount of uranium, though. Very, very small. Oh, there goes my Fritzster. All right, I do need a few minutes. Just a few minutes. Because I drank a lot of